Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host Armando Venditti, and this installment of Misguided or Misunderstood has two purposes. I'm going to be starting another idea I had called underrated albums. So this album I'm going to be talking about falls under both categories. The album that I'm talking about, in my very, very humble opinion, has to be by far the best album that this band ever released. And I know that's a tall order and that's a really bold statement to make, but in my, again, very humble opinion, this stands. The group is Journey. The album is called Dream After Dream. Now, Dream After Dream was recorded, released December 10th, 1980 on Columbia Records, produced by Kevin Elson and Journey. It served as a soundtrack for a Japanese fantasy film called Yume no Ato. Um, the album itself, to some fans or to some critics, is a definite departure from the previous albums that they recorded with Steve Perry on vocals. It harkens back to their, I guess you'd say, progressive, experimental roots. I mean, Journey, you know, for those of you who don't know who Journey is, um, there's a band from San Francisco. They started out, two of the members started out, sorry, um, as a part of Santana. And they are Neil Sean and Greg Raleigh. Neil Sean on guitars and vocals, Greg Raleigh on piano, keyboards, organ, vocals. They released, um, I believe it was three albums starting in 1973. They hooked up with Steve Perry in 77, released their first album with Steve Perry called Infinity in 78. And it was the first time that Journey started to see some major success. Uh, Steve Perry's vocals added another dimension to the music. It was more melodic, more straightforward, like I should say, rock or pop. They followed Infinity up with the Evolution, which had the hits uh, just the same way. Um, Infinity had Anytime. Both albums, Infinity and Evolution, were produced by Roy Thomas Baker. In 1980, they released their album Departure, which had the hits. The main big hit was Any Way You Want It, which was one of my favorite Journey songs. They decided to take on this project of Dream After Dream. Now, there are 9 tracks on the album, and 3 of them have vocals. And those are Destiny, Sandcastles, and Little Girl, which is the last track on the album. Little Girl ended up being released as the B-side to Open Arms in 1981. The album Dream After Dream clocks in at just around 39 minutes. It's not very long. Of the tracks on the album, Destiny is the longest track at 8 minutes and 5 seconds, something like that. The longest track that Journey has ever written. The arrangements on the tracks are much more dense, intricate, layered, complex. uh, different time signatures, different sections. They go from one end of the spectrum. They go from a song like Destiny that's like 8 minutes and change to a song like Festival Dance and um, Four Coins, which are clocks in at 49 seconds and 59 seconds, respectively. The album also features orchestral arrangements and accompaniments. There's one and the second track on the album, the Snow Theme, which was written by Ross Valerie, sorry. And it's to me, that's one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard. It's a simple melody, and every time the melody repeats, and every time the melody repeats, it more layers are added to it, more instruments are added to the section of music, to the point where you're getting basically almost sounds like a full orchestra on the track. They do have backup musicians playing cello and violin on the album. The last track, the B-side to Open Arms, Little Girl, has to be, again, in my very humble opinion, one of the most beautiful tracks that I've ever heard in my life. Basically, the individual is saying in the track, in the storyline, that he knows he's hurt this woman that he was involved with. And he's telling her that you have to leave me. He's pleading with her. I'm not who you think I am. I never was. I've hurt you. And in the most egregious of ways, you would need to go and don't look back. Live your life and move on. Again, when the album was released, it did not do much. It garnered quite critical acclaim. Dave Marsh from Rolling Stone said that it was one of the best recordings that Journey had done in the 1980s. And when I first heard Little Girl, I heard it on their box set, Times Cubed, that I bought in 1993. And I eventually picked up a Japanese import copy of the soundtrack, and I played the crap out of that thing. I just loved it. Again, it is a very layered, very dense album. It's not for the casual Journey fan. There are other pieces of music on there. Moon Theme is another beautiful track, which is instrumental. When the Love Is Gone, which were both written by Neil Sean. Sandcastles, which is the second track to feature vocals, track 3 on side 1. It's almost, that one track almost borders on jazz fusion, because you have a lovely saxophone solo on that track. Again, this episode is serving as a two-purpose episode. Was this album a misstep, or was it misguided? Hell no. Hell to the no. It was not. It was daring. It was bold. It was adventurous. It worked on all bloody levels. If the audience or Journey fans who heard this didn't like it and didn't understand where the band wanted to go or where they were coming from, that was their problem, not Journey's. Journey did not make one misstep in this on this project. Is it an underrated album? Yes, very much so. I think it deserves more praise and more study and more acclaim than what it got, and definitely more attention. I would like to see the band, although they're fighting now, so I doubt that this will ever happen. I would like to see somebody at Columbia, Sony, take the project, take the album, and remaster it and give it a proper North American release and give it the attention that this album so richly and so rightfully deserves. I can't say any more. This album for me has to be the best album that Journey has ever put out. Sorry. That is my, again, very humble opinion. You may agree, you may disagree. Let me know. That's what these episodes are all about. I literally cannot say enough about this beautiful piece of work. This album, by the way, needs to be heard as an album. You need to take some time, whether you're in the car driving somewhere or whether you're doing whatever around the house, put this album on and can I explain this? Open the windows, let the warm breeze come in, and listen to this album. This is the kind of album that you can put on, like I had said a few months ago on my Facebook page about a certain Pat Metheny album. This is the kind of album you put on an afternoon or a nice evening. You have the windows open. You have either maybe people over for dinner. You have a nice summer breeze coming in. This album transports you to another realm, whether it's fantasy or reality. It puts you in a different mindset, a different mind space. And you know what? These days, this is what we all need sometimes. So, yes, do I think this album is underrated? Damn right I do. Do I think it was misguided? Hell no. Sorry, I get very passionate when I talk about this album, and I have been a fan of this album for years. And I just hope that people will take the time to watch this video and go check it out. You can download it off of YouTube. You can stream it on YouTube. Sorry, you can buy it on Amazon. It might be a little pricey. I mean, when I paid my copy, I paid $50 for it, and this was back in the early 2000s in Toronto. So, but believe me, if you want to take a chance on something new and open your mind up to another possibility, to another realm, another sort of avenue to go down in terms of music listening, this is the album for you. I cannot stress this enough. So, enough of my ranting for now. That's the end of the episode. Please leave your comments again down below. Let me know, do you know of this album? Do you like this album? Do you hate this album? Do you think this album got a fair shot? Do you think it should have been given more credit than what was given? You know, it's unfortunate that this album, I should mention too, that on this album you had Steve Smith on drums, Ross Valerie on bass, Neil Sean on guitars, Steve Perry on vocals, and Greg Raleigh on organ, backing vocals, harmonica, keyboards. It is a bloody shame that the last album to feature Greg Raleigh on a Journey album didn't do well. and didn't get the attention that it so rightfully and richly deserves. So please, again, let me know what you think down below, and hit like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for any new content that I have coming up. And that way you'll be in the know. So that's it for this episode. Hopefully you guys having a fantastic Friday. And I will see you very soon. Please take care of each other and yourselves. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.